Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to switch to my other camera so that you can see what I'm doing. Everyone see that? See me?
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to start on number 10 of the handout, which is the fold it across, folded up to 2 to 3 pockets. And what you need to do to start, how can I put this as I want to put this as something over there we go. Good. Because sometimes I need to look at my own notes. Okay, so what we need to do to start is cut a piece of paper that is 9 inches wide. No, wait. It's, yes, 8 inches tall and 9 inches wide. Sorry, I should have written that down. So if you could do that to start.
Which way do you want the grain?
I'm using scrapbook paper, so I don't really care. But I cut this with the width across the scrapbook paper and the height with the height of the scrapbook paper. So I'm
So
using
is the grain parallel to the 8 or the 9 inch?
the 8.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I do not care about grain that much. I'm
Well,
not.
I've had some bad experiences.
I understand. I
with
just
my
it's not
pages
something that's on my
buckling and-
radar that often. And let me know when you're ready. To move on. I'm using double-sided paper because, and I love paper so much and I love design so much that I have more scrapbook paper than anyone should own. So I am trying to use it up with things like this because things like this lend themselves very well to it. And yeah. Let me see if I can get next to chewing it somewhere. This is a joke for you while you're doing that. I no longer worry about buying my milk in the plastic cartons because they make inexpensive chew toys. And the person who did this, or the dog who did this, is a 12-pound Chiweenie. So it's amazing how much she really wants to chew.
We have a Chiweenie. They're a hoot. Those dogs.
All the bravado of a Chihuahua, all the charm of a dachshund. Okay, does everybody have their paper?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I have a scoreboard here. And the first thing I'm going to do is score it lengthwise. So the width of the paper at 4.5 inches. Now, if you don't have a scoreboard, then You might be lucky because I'm always going off the track, but if you don't have a scoreboard, then just mark at either end the 4.5 inches length from the lengthwise. So this is the width of it. I've just marked a 4.5 inch because that's the end of the top of the piece. Okay.
I need a little, I'm not clear what.
Oh, I'm
where
holding it up to
scoring.
I'm sorry. I'm holding it up to the wrong camera. I apologize. So this is the length, this is the width of the paper, right? And
So the 9-inch, you're calling the
Yes.
wide side?
the 9 inch. And
Okay.
I just marked a folding line at the 4.5 inch place. Okay.
So it's parallel to the 9-inch.
Yes, parallel to the 9 inch.
Okay, I got it. 4.5 parallel to the 9-inch.
And then you're going to want to turn it. Oh, I don't want to. Yeah, I just turned it. Okay. And then you turn it and make a 3.5 inch mark up to that 4.5 inch mark. So let me see if I can highlight this for you in a way that makes sense. This here is the mark that's parallel to your 9 inches. And this mark here is perpendicular to your 9 inches. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Everybody okay with that?
And what is it again, 3.5?
Yes, it's 3.5 because that's going to fold up.
Yeah.
Let's make that.
What is the name of the pocket we're making right now?
It's number 10. It's called folded up, folded across. Now, what you're going to do next is cut this line between that you just scored for the 3.5. You're going to cut this toward the other scored line. You can do this with a knife if you prefer. The other one I will do with a knife. Where'd my knife go? Oh, there it is. This is the 4.5 inch score line. And I'm going to cut only this portion of it off. So what you have now is something that looks like this. Oh, right? Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So we're cutting a
Um,
bigger square, basically?
yes,
Pardon?
could you show us again from the perpendicular line? Do we cut that perpendicular line?
Yeah, yes. So here's what you had before.
Right,
You're going to cut the perpendicular line.
right.
And then from the perpendicular line to the left along the fold line that you have.
Okay, the longer, okay, and the longer part of the paper, got it,
So when you do that, your piece looks like this.
yes.
You know
Like
what
an
with me?
L.
Okay.
Mhm.
You can keep yourselves unmuted. I don't care. It's easier for me to say you with me instead of giving you to put a thumbs up or whatever. Okay, so now what you're going to do is fold 3.5 inches over. like this. So essentially what you're doing is you're folding from that cut over to the left.
So are we folding on the score line? Or we're folding a different direction?
Okay, see how you've got this big piece here?
Uh-huh.
You're just folding that big piece over. You're not worrying about this perpendicular square fold line yet.
Maybe I cut the wrong piece off because mine looks different.
Does yours look like
Yeah.
this? Yeah, you're fine.
And then this is the score line. So are you talking about folding it this way?
Yes.
Okay.
So when you get done, you should have something that looks like this. So I'm starting with the hardest one first. It gets easier. Everyone have this?
No, what did you fold over?
Okay, I've got this piece like this, right?
Right,
Okay, so I folded over the large piece onto so here, this is your 9-inch width, right? And what I did is I went from this cut here that I made. So remember, I cut this piece out.
right.
Okay, so I'm going up from that cut and I'm folding it over to the left.
Okay.
And if you have that part, you can go ahead and glue right here so that this part is adhered right here. Okay, does that make sense?
Do that, okay.
Pardon? Everyone got that?
I think so.
Okay, so watch what I'm going to do. I've got it open. I use double stick tape because it's faster and I don't get sticky all over my hands. I'm putting the glue right there at the right above the part that's going to fold up. And I'm taking off the backing. Oh, come on. I even have nails. There we go. And I'm folding it over like this. So this is now glued at the bottom and you have a pocket. Everyone understand? Yes, no, I'm confused. I think you're crazy.
I'm working on it.
I'm confused. I thought my long piece I glued over and it's a straight piece now. It's a straight piece that is 4.5 by 8 inches. Am I in the right direction?
I don't know. Let me see.
Um, oh,
At 10:21, Yoli says no. Or it's not Yoli, it's Rosa.
Rosa says no, she doesn't understand.
At 10:21, she said no.
yeah,
Oh.
I've got it. I've got the small piece that we cut the other one out of. I'm folded over the larger piece. Is that correct? So
No,
I
you see-
folded
No, okay, let me start again. I'll cut another
and
piece.
I glued.
Let me cut another piece. Okay. Here's our tabula rasa, all right? So this is the width, this is the height. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. And I'm going to make a mark. I'm just going to make a physical mark this time. At the 4.5 inch
Mhm.
here. And I'm going to make a mark this way at 3.5 inches. And I'm going to actually draw those lines so we can see what we're doing. Probably should have just used white paper. Oh, well. What happened to my mark? There it is. I'm not going to see where I'm taking it. So there's my 4.5 inch mark. There's my 3.5 inch mark. Do you see my sections marked now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this part right here has to go away. How's everyone doing now?
So you cut away your, from the 3.5 inch section, you cut away that long piece.
Yes, I did.
Okay, then we start to fold where? We fold the 4.5 over
Yes.
and leave the 3.5 hanging out?
Yes. So watch what I'm doing. I'm taking the top part and folding it over at the 3.5 inch mark. I'm gonna do it. I'll do it that way. It's not as pretty. Okay, so you with me now?
Okay, and then the glue goes along the inner edge of the just turned over piece.
Yes. I'm gonna do that again.
Do you want to put your piece in the center of your camera so we can see it better?
Sorry.
Thank you.
So I'm doing that. And now folding it over. Okay. And I've got a pocket. Got it?
Right, well, we have the beginnings of, we haven't closed the other sides yet.
That's correct. Now,
Right.
what I'm going to do before I close that side is I have this little, it's a We Are Memory Keepers thumb notch. And I like it because it makes it easier to pull tags out of pockets.
Ah,
I'm just notching that. You can also use a 1 inch circle punch and then just punch half a circle. Now I'm taking this piece and I'm folding it up.
where did that piece come? That's the bigger piece, okay,
That's the piece that was sort of hanging out like, you know, what do I
right.
do? I just folded
Right.
it up. Did everybody see that?
I think you need to spotlight yourself because every time someone else talks, we see a different image.
Okay, how do I do that? I don't know how to spotlight myself. I've never done that.
If you make,
Rosanna, there's,
you make me a leader, I can do it. If you make me the,
How do I do that? Oh,
actually,
shiza.
Rosanna, if you put your cursor on your image on the screen, there's a little blue box with 3 dots in it in the upper right corner.
Oh, okay.
That
Spotlight.
gives you a little
There
power.
we go. Is that good now? Is that better?
Yes.
yes,
Okay. I'm sorry, I did. Still new to this. I apologize.
well, we're all learning all the
Yes.
time.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so
Which piece did you turn over there to make the little hole in?
Oh, yeah. Pardon?
Okay, that. Okay, I think I've got it. Okay, I think,
Can you,
So this comes up like this. Now you have 2 options here. You could either glue down both sides, so then you have 2 pockets, or you can glue down just one of these sides, and then you have a 3rd pocket here, or glue it here, you have a 3rd pocket here. No, it makes sense. No. No, that doesn't work. Never mind. I'm sorry. I should have worked that out before. You're going to glue both these sides right here. Okay? So I'm
on the 3.5
Yes,
piece.
on your 3.5
we
by
have.
3.5 flat. You're going to put tape or glue.
Okay.
I find that the glue works better if you burnish it, or the glue tape. Actually, glue works better if you burnish it as well. Everything works better with burnishing, even people, I think.
Mhm.
Thankfully, my dogs have settled down. Bonnie is snoring and all is well. You hear snoring? That is my dog. She snores louder than any human being I ever met. Okay, so now you have a pocket here, right here.
Mhm.
Come on up. And you have a pocket here. And what I did with my other sample, which I'm pulling out right now, and that is not it. Here it is. This is my original sample. And so I put a little notebook into this here. And I made this simply by cutting a bunch of typing paper, I think. Not typing, we don't type anymore. Printing paper into a small section. And then I folded a 1-inch piece of scrapbook over the top and then stapled it. And then this is just a tag that I stuck in. Now, one of the things I do with my tags is I love decorative paper, and I love double-sided because it's much more versatile. This happened to be double-sided, but it matched here. So what I did on the back is I put hand-dyed, you can't see that it's hand-dyed, but it's coffee-dyed paper on the back so that there's a place to write. Because what I call journals with all these inserts are journals for people who don't like to write very much at one time. It's sort of a long title. I need to shorten that. But basically, when you have all these inserts, you have places to write snippets. And I like sometimes to write snippet. And I really like using these for traveling. Let me show you the book that started all this. This is a book I made a while back. And what happened was, see this beautiful eco-dyed paper? I didn't want to write on it. I mean, it's too pretty. So I put in all these inserts. And this one, for instance, is made with a paper towel, belly bands. And I learned a lot from doing this. This is like tiered inserts. This one is like the one that we just made, only it's vertical and it's sewn around the edges. This is a waterfall thing, so it's the same idea, as this, but I tore the papers and I stained them and it looks a little bit more interesting. So I have a whole, this is basically my book of, this is now my reference book, so I probably won't ever write it in any way, but it was part of the reason I got started on this.
So
How's
Rosanna,
everyone?
we're making a second pocket too?
No, this is it. This is the first, well, we're gonna make other things now.
Oh, okay,
We're gonna make like 5 things, 5 different things.
I see. Okay,
So
so we've made one pocket so far.
You've made one pocket, well, one insert with 2 pockets.
So I guess this might seem silly, but you glue this in then, the book.
You can glue it in the book or you can stick it in another pocket,
Uh-huh.
in a belly band, or yeah, I usually glue them into the book like that or like that, depending on the size of my book.
But Rosanna, so I've got this pocket, the smaller one, and
Uh-huh.
then I've got a bigger sheet. Am I gluing something down here?
In this
Or is
book
it-
here,
Okay, that's remaining open for
yes,
now?
this remains open.
Okay, okay,
Because that way you can either insert something this way or you can insert it this way.
okay,
It gives you a
Thank
little bit more flexibility.
okay. Thank you.
Are we ready to move on to the second one?
Think
There's something in the chat.
Okay.
Rosa says yes at
Okay.
10:34.
Okay, so we're ready to rock and roll? Okay, I'm assuming yes, I didn't hear a no. All right, so our next piece is easier. We're gonna bundle some tags, right? Let me get my sample out. That would probably be easier. We'll show you before we start and after.
So are we doing item 9 now, or what's the name of this one?
Item 9.
Thank you.
So you weren't kidding when you said we were gonna start hard and go easy.
I'm hoping that it won't be quite, the thing is, once you get the idea of number 10, it's really easy to repeat, but it's sort of like, what am I doing? So let me put these so that you can actually see them for your direction. All right. So what we have here, this was, I call this one a failure only because I tried, come on, to put in a little bit of a gully in order to make it more susceptible to more tags, and it really did not work for me. So we're not doing it that way. And then this is the one that we're making. It's just 2 tags, bundle like that, and it has sort of an interesting angle to it. So I like that. So for this one, you're going to cut a 6-inch high by 9-inch wide rectangle. I have mine right here, but I will wait for you to cut that. This particular insert can work in any size as long as the width is a multiple of 3. So 6, 9, 12, 15. It gets progressively very big as you increase it in inches, increase the width or the size of the center section. Everyone have your paper?
Yes.
Anyone not? Okay, again, I'm using a scoreboard. You can score or you can mark it, but I'm scoring at the 3-inch mark. And I'm scoring at the 6-inch mark. And I'm going to fold those so I know I have a good fold. And so I can see what I'm doing. That always helps too. And then open it up again. On the left-hand fold, I'm going to come down. This is 6 inches high, so I'm going to come down to the 4-inch mark. I'm going to mark it right there. And I'm going to mark it at, what is it? Oh, down to the corner. That's right. This one goes down to the corner. On the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, I know my left and my right. I'm going to mark it at the 2.5-inch point, which means I need to do it like that.
So on the left, we mark it what number?
At 4 inches. So this is marked at 4 inches. And
The
it's going to
left
be cut to
side.
the corner. And on the right-hand side, we're going to mark it at 2.5 inches.
I'm having
having-
trouble turning this in my head because your camera's upside down.
How's that?
Oh, thank you. I'm just like having trouble, like, she's doing this upside down when I put my mark.
And I
You show
kept
us-
thinking it had to be upside down for me, for you to see it right side up. It's just so confusing.
Yeah,
So-
it is.
Can you show us again, please?
Start
Oh,
again.
yes.
We're confused.
Okay, here I
Do
am.
this-
Okay, so we've made our folds, right? It's gonna fold like
Oh, okay. We haven't done that other fold.
marked it. I've marked it at the 4-inch point right here. And we're gonna cut it down to the diagonal, but I'm not gonna do that quite yet, all right? Then on the right-hand fold, I'm marking it at 2.5 inches
From the bottom.
from the bottom. And I'm marking it at 1/2 inch on the side. Everyone with me?
Maybe?
Maybe? Okay,
Mhm.
I can do this more than once, so
Yeah. Okay.
that's fine if I have to. Okay, so I've got my knife.
One
and
quick question.
Yes,
What did you mark it on the other side? Not the 1.5 inch side, the other side.
it's gonna go down to the corner. This one, this
Oh,
side.
it goes right to the corner. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my ruler and my cutter, and I'm gonna cut along that fold to the 4-inch mark. And then I'm gonna cut from that mark to the corner. So you have a nice little piece of scrap. I have a basket I throw scraps into so I can use them later
Mhm.
on. Okay, does that make sense? Everyone with me?
I think so.
Okay. Right, so this time on the right-hand side, I'm going to cut down to that 2.5 inch mark. So I'm cutting farther down. Where did it go? Is that it? Yeah. And then I'm cutting not to the corner, but to the 1/2 inch above the corner. And the reason I do that is because it'll be the second flap I fold. And that way, it has a little bit more surface area to catch the glue.
Right.
So you have a funky looking thing like this. How's that look? Does that look familiar to you? Does that look like what you have?
I'm with you.
Okay. All right, so we're going to fold over the pointy one first, the left-hand side first. I'm going to use some narrower tape for this. And I've glued it like that, okay? And I'm going to put tape on the other side. And I'm going to use a slightly wider tape. Well, slightly, twice as wide tape. You can see why I wanted that 1/2 inch there, because my tape is 1/2 inch. It's not just designing to that, it's to make sure we have a really firm hold on the other side. And because I overcut something there we go. I'm not averse to trimming afterwards. Yeah, that looks kind of dull, right? So what we can do is use a corner chomper. Make it look a little bit more finished. And your tags will go in it like this. The ones at the back and ones at the front. Much easier, huh?
I noticed the diagram that you gave us is reversed. It probably doesn't matter which way you go.
No, you can go either way on it. It's I usually put left higher than right. I don't know why, but that's sort of me. But I might have been feeling dyslexic when I did the diagram. So this is why, you know, this is a draft and not a final product on the handout.
Well, it in my mind, it could go either way.
It could, yeah. For me, I like this larger surface area here as the final gluing point, but it doesn't, you know, it's a matter of personal preference, really. It's not a hard and fast rule. That's your bundle, everyone? Hello. How we doing?
I've got mine.
Okay, that's
Yes,
fine.
kind of, sort of.
Is there anyone who's still having difficulty? Want me to do it again?
I think I got the hang of it. Oops. I'm just working on copy paper, so my measurements are not going to be what you were giving us. I'll have to adjust later.
That's fine, as long as you understand the process.
Right, exactly. So I think we got it. I think I do. Here's that insert.
Okay,
take out. And then there's that insert, and I'm just using Scotch tape.
Yeah,
All
Okay.
righty.
there's-
Let me get my zoom back. All righty. So this one is super easy. Super easy. But it's fun. Okay, I have books full of these things because when I was a professor, I was lucky enough to get lots of cards and things from my students, and I didn't want to throw them away. So I made a bunch of these envelopes and I sewed them together in a ribbon tacket binding, and I have them organized by year because I'm really obsessive compulsive sometimes. So this one is truly easy. You have a 12 by 12 inch piece of scrapbook paper, or a 12 by 12 anything. But as I said, I'm trying to use up the scrapbook paper that I have that is way too numerous in my
Is
collection.
this number 8 we're on now?
Yep, I'm working backwards.
Good, thank you.
So I'm going to
Please.
mark this at the 3-inch mark.
So
And
our
this-
page 12 by 12, correct?
Yes,
Okay. I'm gonna scale mine down to 8 by 8.
you can make it any size you want as long as it's
Right.
square.
Square, perfect.
And the thing about the reason I'm fundamentally lazy, so as well as obsessive compulsive, it's an odd combination. So when I hand dye my papers, I use 65-pound drawing paper, which comes in a 9 by 12 size. So when you fold it, you've got a 6 by 9 finished product, and I like 6 by 9. It's very pleasing to me aesthetically. So this works out perfectly because I don't have to cut it down. But I'm going to fold this up at the 3-inch mark that I just made, and I can't see. Oh, there it is.
so we're starting with what size paper? An 8-inch by 8-inch, so we should cut a piece of paper to 8-inch by 8-inch, correct?
Yes. Yeah, you could. Well, I'm working with 12 by 12, but you can do 8 by 8. That's fine as long as it's a square.
Oh, square, okay, so. Okay, so this is 8.5. And I
If
can
it's
cut,
8.5 by 8.5, that's fine too.
okay.
The point is that you want to fold up 3 inches at the bottom.
So that would be a third, right?
No, it's a
Or a
fourth.
quarter, that would be a quarter. Because
But
if
if
it's
you have
12
it, you
inches,
still want 3.5, you still want 3 inches, because if you do a quarter of 8, it's only 2 inches and it's really hard for it to be functional. I found that 3 inches is like the minimum depth you need to hold things in.
okay.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to get a sample book to show you how this was used.
Oh, she did 3 inches on 12. She did 3 inches on 12. I'm doing it on 8. So I think that would be a 2-inch turn then.
I started out with an 8.5 by 8.5, and then
Uh-huh.
I folded it in half and then folded the bottom half up so that if I'm gonna end up with quarters instead of thirds, I've got an easy easy way to get to your quarter by folding it in half and then folding it in half again, and then I'll still have a tall thing at the top.
Okay,
Anyway, I didn't do any measurements. I just did, like an accordion, beginning of an accordion fold.
okay.
But
So
So
this
then-
is,
If we're using an 8x8 piece, then we should turn it 2 inches, right?
no. As I said, 3 inches is your minimum size pocket to make it functional.
Okay.
And
So,
an 8 and 8 by 8 and an 8 by an 8x8. Okay.
so if it's an 8x8 sheet, you're going to wind up with a 5 tall by 4 inch wide spine insert. Because what these are
5 and
made to go into the spine itself, to become part of the spine. So you see, this is how I use them. These are folded differently, but they're the same idea. These
Right.
are into the spine of the book, which is a ribbon tacket book. The other book I used it in, I've used it in several, but this is the one I'm most proud of. This is my journal from my trip to Egypt. So there were lots of things I wanted to save.
Right.
And so every section opens with one of these.
Move it over to the left so we can see it better. Thank you.
So every section is enclosed by one of these pages. And I have, it was like a 3-week trip, so I have a lot of stuff in it. But so this is my journal part, and this is where I keep things that, like my tickets and all that stuff, which seem to be fading. And this was the first part of my trip. And then I have another one. These are all the tickets that we used to get into all the different event. We had to have a ticket to get in anywhere. So I kept all my tickets because they were fun, and it reminds me of where we went. The Egyptian Museum, Dahshur, Abu Simbel, blah blah blah. And I had these tags that I wrote on. And then again, another thing to keep track of. This was for the purchases, so when I came to customs, I knew what I'd purchased. I kept track of my itinerary and so on. But you see how they function really well in a journal like this, because you've got places to put things that you sort of accumulate along the way.
Gotcha.
Hopefully, I just tore it apart. Okay, so you've got a third up or a fourth up. You're just going to glue it on the sides here or tape it. I'm going to use my narrow tape for the middle. Oh, before you glue, do fold it in half. Especially for those bottom, those outside edges or burnish, whatever. So I'm going to put a narrow piece of tape. This is going to fold up, and I'm going to put it right along that fold so that I have 2 separate pockets. You don't have to do that. I find it's helpful. Since I've used these a lot, you can take my word for that. And then I'm going to put a sturdier one on the outside because I don't want it to break while it's in use. Fold it up. It's attached, fold it over, and you've got an insert for a book. And it gets sewn into the spine along the fold. Make sense?
Yeah, do you typically make those out of heavier paper?
I do, because I'm gonna stuff a lot of stuff in them. So, as I said, actually a couple in the Egypt book are just, regular old, cardstock. Cardstock works well, heavier paper. I've also made them and decorated them. So, I've used them in my B book, which is not immediately at hand here. I have inserts like this that have been dyed and texturized and all sorts of stuff, but that's an art book. It's not really something that I would use. I just made it because it's pretty. So I guess I'm more inclined to make functional books than art books when push comes to shove. And of course, you can make this more interesting by, flipping the edges if you're so inclined. I don't know.
Ruthanna, did you seal the sides on the folds? Did I
Yes.
miss that?
This is sealed right here
Okay,
and right here. So I've got glue in the center so that the folds don't, it doesn't want to come apart. I have glue
Right.
at the side and at the side.
thank
So did
you.
you put one strip in the middle? I sort of missed that.
Very narrow. I put a very narrow strip in the middle right here. You don't have to. I find it's helpful. That should have been fun and easy. Yes?
Yeah,
Okay. Are we
Yes.
having
and
fun yet?
does the center piece go all the way down, or is it like just a tack in the middle?
It's a tack just from the top of the pocket down to the fold.
Okay, so it's all the way down.
Okay, this next one I have a lot of fun with because it doesn't require a great deal of precision, and that's always my favorite. But I didn't cut a piece for it, so I need to do that.
What size should we be cutting?
A 4x4 piece of paper, 2 4x4 pieces of paper. Let me show you the sample first.
Okay.
So this is the sample. And this is just, real fast. But we're going to cut these funky kinds of edges here. I'll show you how.
Mhm.
And then everything, and then it's backed by another piece of paper so that your tags just going this way. And you leave the top open so you can put a tag there or a notebook or whatever. Okay. Okay. So two,
Okay. This
four,
is number 7.
7. Yes.
Okay.
So 2 4x4 inches, 4x4 inch pieces of paper.
4x4.
Is this 4? Oh, yay. Okay. Let's see. Same. This is where scoring does come in handy. A scoreboard does come in handy. If you don't have one, oh, you're missing out on pure luxury. But I am scoring this at the 1, 2, and 3 inch lines. So you have a 4x4 inch square, You've got a marked line at 1, a marked line at 2, a marked line at 3.
On both pieces?
No, just on the first piece.
Again, I just folded mine in half, then folded the half and then the half, and then I've got my 1, my 2, and my 3 inches just by doing folds too. That worked real quick.
And
Since I'm,
that's a good way to do it too. Thanks for pointing that out.
That's what Hetty Kyle would do.
yeah. Well, I have a scoring board, but not here with me. So scores are great. Boards are great if you're doing like multiples. Like
Yeah.
if I'm doing 50 things, I get out my scoring board, and if I have like a lot of cards to make, because I make production cards and I'm always scoring cards. So
Yeah.
but for this is a quick little way too.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. That's
Sure.
probably much easier than scoring.
No,
Yeah.
no, well, scoring is great for thicker paper too. That helps. I'm just
Yeah.
using copy paper, so.
Okay, so I've just folded it on the 1-inch thing. I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna go, oh, I'm so crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh gosh, who knows what's gonna happen here? I'm just gonna cut from about 1 inch to 1 inch. And when I open it up, I've got a funky little opening.
My little tiny scissors.
Or you can get crazier. You can use decorative scissors. Oh my gosh, I still don't know what I'm doing. Oh dear, what's going to happen? And now I've got that going on.
Do we cut all the folds?
Yep, each 3 folds. And do not try and do it, just move the paper, move your scissors, just sort of make it kind of nutsy. It doesn't matter how big, well, you don't want to cut, so far that you don't have a distinction between your cuts, but it doesn't really matter how wide they are, as long as they're on either side of the fold. I'm so glad Bonnie is sleeping so soundly.
I'm gonna have to bail.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bail in about a minute as soon as I just hear the rest of this.
Okay, so you're just going to layer it on top, and you're going to enclose 3 sides of it. So you can make it so that all the tags will go in the same way, or you could do these 3 sides and then 3 tags will go that way and 1 tag will go this way. But
It will be taping up 3 sides.
you're taping up 3 sides, exactly.
Got it. Got it.
So I think I'll do something different this time.
My cat is snoring also.
Yeah, Bonnie's very loud because she's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel and she's got that short nose. Like pug. And they have brachial issues. I didn't know all these things when I rescued her.
She was cute, right?
Hmm?
All you knew was she was cute.
Oh, she was adorable. Yeah,
Okay, number 7.
they're all adorable, even grown, you know. One of them thinks I have a pit bull mix that I rescued, and she thinks she's a lap dog and she's 65 pounds because all the other dogs are small. So they can get on my lap, and she figures she should be able to as well. It's not particularly comfortable. So in this one, what I did is that might be too wide for this one, but I did the opening at the top, if I can open it. Nope. Did the opening at the top. And then I've got room to put my other ones here so that they're going in different directions. And I like that.
Okay, bye, everybody. Gotta run. See
Bye-bye.
ya. Thank you for the
Good to see you.
recording. I'll finish it up later. Thank you.
Now, I thought I would open it up to you. If there's one of the ones that you really want to see me get to, I'll do that. Otherwise, I will continue to go in reverse order. Does anyone have a special request? Everyone okay with this one?
I think so.
Okay.
Just got to the point where I did the fancy cutting, and now I'm doing the gluing or the taping just so I can get them quickly. Nine. That's the 8. That's the number 7.
So I'm going to go on to number 6 unless somebody has a special request. I think we can probably get through most of them. I'm not hearing any special requests.
Oh, we're still trying to finish up here.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, I don't mean to rush you.
It's okay. And this was number 7. 7. Yeah.
So number 6 is next.
I think we're on number 6.
Yep, unless somebody has a special request. So do you have envelopes or do you want to just watch me do this?
Number 6. Oh, should we go get some large envelopes?
If you have them, would be great. If you don't, you can just watch too. What would you like to do?
Okay, I can find one of those I have.
Okay, I'll wait for for you to find it.
Okay, thanks.
Does it work better with the envelopes with the straight flaps?
Actually, it works either way. I'm using these because they have that funky little thing there that I wanted to point out, just in case you have that funky little thing there. So, because on the directions, it says cut those off if you can. I also have, I also have the ones with the big flaps. They work just as well. I'll demonstrate with both. Does anyone need a stretch break?
Does anyone need what?
A stretch break. Stand up, stretch.
I think that's okay. Do both envelopes have, I see you have 2 there. Do they have to be the same size?
It helps.
It helps.
I haven't done it with different sizes. So,
Okay,
yeah, I think they need,
okay.
Yeah.
And they don't need to have that little strip tape to come off. They can have regular elastic ends, right?
oh, yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm using these because they're so old, the strip thing doesn't work anymore. When I sent out my artist trading cards, I was using these and I had to glue them and tape them before they reached other people because they wouldn't have reached other people. So
Got it.
these have dried out and they're, relatively worthless. But this is also a great way to use up those extra envelopes that seem to accumulate. If you pay your bills online, you don't.
Yes,
You
yes,
don't-
exactly.
And I'm not one to want to waste anything, so I like putting them to some use.
Yes, I
So
agree.
if you have an envelope that has this little extra doo-woppy right here, I don't know what to call it, but there's an extra piece of paper. There's just a little bit of a higher piece right here. You're gonna just cut
Mhm.
it up. Because you want this part to be even.
Got it. They are.
So once you get rid of those, it's so hard to get in the habit of throwing my trash away. I usually just throw it to the side of the desk, and you should see I have a picture of what my desk looked like yesterday, and it was not pretty. It was really, excuse me, it was very funky looking. Okay. So what you're going to do is shove one envelope into the other like this. Until you're right at the turn. Yeah. So you want it you want to be able to have that fold ready, fold usable. You know what? It's not going to work with these, but it will. I'll make it work. Okay. And then you're going to just lift it up and make sure the glue's out. I'm going to shove that one back in.
All right, you're gonna, because you have to, you want to glue the under part so that you can get pieces into both sides, correct?
Yes. Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay, good.
Let's make sure it folds.
Mhm.
Okay. So far, so good. And then you're going to turn it over. And if this thing works, which I doubt it will, yeah, no stick there. And then you're going to glue the back side.
Mhm.
And again, you're going to want to make sure that this folds. So where is the fold? We might have to reestablish it. Okay. So now we have something that folds in half
Uh-oh.
and two envelopes with openings on the inside. With openings on the inside. We have one envelope with an opening on the inside. What did I do wrong? Okay, well, this is embarrassing.
One's glued inside, one's glued in the back.
Yeah, but we only have one envelope. Okay, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna work with this the way it is, although what should happen, let me use the other ones. What should happen is that you get two like this.
Mhm.
Oh, I glued it the wrong way. Okay.
Right, right, right. You glue one glues it within on the back of the flap, and
Yes.
the other, you put the black and the flap over to the other
Yes,
envelope on
so
the back of
the
the
mistake I
piece.
made was gluing this part of it instead of that part of
Right.
it. Okay. Let me just repeat, I'll salvage that one later and let me do this the right way.
Good.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Well, it shows we're all human, right?
Right.
Yeah, I am a tragically human, that's right. I'd like to be a robot. Be easier, no emotions. Mr. Spock, that'd be good. Okay. Let's try this again. I've done this 3 or 4 times and obviously I need to retrain myself. Come on, you
Right.
want to get in there. Okay. Come on, baby. It's a little bit more challenging than one would hope, not one would want it, but it does work. You just have to get it. It's sort of like,
Double-sided tape isn't the best for this.
it's not because you have to reposition sometimes.
Yep.
Okay, now I have something that folds and this one could just be glued down. And if they aren't completely even, that's okay because they're on different sides of the thing. Okay, but we have something that folds, right?
Mhm.
All righty. Now we're going to make it pretty. So you need some sort of decorative paper. We're going to start on the inside. And we're going to this, although it doesn't have an exact stick up point, we're gonna get rid of some of this here so that we're not completely covering that hole. So I'm eyeballing this, but it's about a 1/2 inch that I'm taking off here so that I'll have a 1/2 inch opening up here. That makes sense? You don't want to have to shove things in here. We want to be able to put them in nicely. Nick, stop annoying the other dogs.
So you're doing this on both sides?
Yes. And as I said, I'm just eyeballing this.
You could also turn over those pieces and glue the back pieces and they'd kind of reinforce it naturally.
Well, because we do have the reinforcement there and there, I think we've got a pretty good,
Okay.
but yeah, we could do that. Okay, so now I need some paper. I haven't used yet. All right, so what we're gonna do now is cut a piece of paper to cover the outside of that envelope. Now, this much is gonna be in the spine. So you're gonna have about this much envelope exposed. And if that offends you, you can start by putting a smaller piece of paper, and it helps reinforce the spine, right in there. So I'm going to do that. Where's my cutter? This is 11.5 inches long. That one off the other one. Oh, Philly, that's not long enough. Darn. There we go.
We're covering the back of things and leaving the pocket places not decorated, or we're gonna cover all of it.
We're going to cover all of it. What I decided to do here was to cover the interior first. So I just
Okay.
cut a piece that is the length of the envelope, or was presumably the length of the envelope.
Mhm.
And I'm slipping it just underneath. It's just wide enough to cover this white space right here. And I need to cut that much off. Okay.
Baldwin Flagger.
Pardon? This is just a piece of hand-dyed paper. Copy dye goes with everything, and I consider it a neutral. I met a quilting teacher once who said that red was a neutral. I thought that is really interesting, but I don't think I could do that.
They're behind the studio right now.
Okay, so it's easier to do this first, which is covering that spine part. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
Y'all following me so far? So see, I covered that part. That's our spine. Alrighty?
So neck a little bit more slim. Okay.
Now I want to measure. Where did I put my ruler? Oh, fully. It's here somewhere. Now I want to measure from away. From this point over, and it looks on mine to be 3 5/8 inches. Now there's a couple different things you can use here. These are some book pages I have, and they're almost wide enough. Oh, cool. These are wide enough. Almost. Huh. I kind of like this. This is not for the people who like to do things really controlled manner, but you could either cover it with, you know, something like this, but wider. But I am going to cover mine with this funky book page with the funky kind of edge there. And to make it look like I did it on purpose, which I am doing it on purpose, I'm going to ink this edge so it looks more interesting. But if you don't want to do it this way, then measure this part here by the length and cover it with a piece of paper that matches this area right here. And do the same for the left side. I noticed that I trimmed this at a little bit of an angle, so I'm going to go back in and take some of it off. There. Now, what you don't want to have happen here is you don't want to put glue on the inside of the pocket. So to glue this piece of paper here means I'm putting the glue on the envelope and I'm skipping this part so that I do not make the same mistake I made before. And because this is thin book paper, very thin book paper, it's from an old encyclopedia, I'm not going to burnish it with my bone folder. I'm just doing it with my hands. And I think that since there's some envelope showing, I will mark that in. Cool. I'm going to repeat for the other side. 4. Oh, wait. Oh.
Taco.
Sorry?
I'm just talking to my dog. I need to mute myself.
Oh, that's okay. Thought there was a question.
Doesn't like it.
Doesn't like what?
The pecan harvesters are here.
Oh.
And so there's
Pecan
people that aren't familiar. We have 4 acres of pecans in our backyard.
Where do you live?
Las Cruces?
Oh, wow. Can I come visit you and pick some pecans?
Huh?
Can I come visit you and pick some pecans? Boy, have they gone up in price. My gosh.
Well, we have gleaners that come after the harvest.
Oh, well, there's an idea. That's a good thing. It's the water, isn't it? They're very water intensive, aren't they?
Yeah, we're actually, we got a grant from the USDA to put sprinklers in to conserve on water instead of flood irrigating. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, so I've taken a messy approach. This is the interior of my envelopes. There's my fold again. And I think I will repeat this process on the outside because it makes sense to do that. Oh, Prometheus will be on the outside. Isn't that fun? However, I will have more. It's not quite white enough, so what I'm going to do is double layer it for mine. But if you are doing a straight shot, you'll want to measure your width and your height and cut a piece to fit that, okay? I love the way Distress Ink in the color ground espresso looks at all these old book pages. It's very cool. I just did the wrong side again. Minute. So here's a way it could go horribly wrong when you're using book pages. I almost put it down this way, which meant that my text would be going in opposite direction. So you want to make sure that you've got your text going in the same direction on both sides. So who knew 2 envelopes that were wasted and an old book that nobody is using anymore could become something so interesting looking? What do you think?
Turned out cool.
How about yours? Do you like yours?
I just took notes on mine.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
lazy.
All right. Anybody else make one? I'm gonna put-
Here, that's how I did the inside.
hold on,
Looks
let
like
me put you on
Mary
ground.
made one.
And I used it from a picture of advertising the Georgia, something in Georgia O'Keeffe Museum. And so it says rooted in place along the inner spine.
Can
And
you
then
hold
in
it
the-
up again?
Sure.
Oh, nice.
I put some words in there at, that was from the type. And then this one piece of artwork that I liked from that ad, I was going to put across the back as a way to keep the memory.
Oh, lovely. Yes.
Because there's a lot of artwork that I see of people's and whatever, but I think I find it very beautiful. So I'd like to keep it just because.
You know, I make altered Rolodex cards or, from scratch too. And somebody sent me their ATC in this beautifully decorated envelope and a beautifully decorated piece of paper inside to hold it. And I thought, I'm not tossing this. And I put it
Right.
on a Rolodex card. And so now I have their art, and they didn't even intend for it to be anything but something discarded. But there are so
Right.
many things that we come across that would otherwise
Yes.
be discarded. And I really love the fact that we can recycle them like this, recycle an envelope, recycle art,
Right,
so much stuff lines up in the trash can that could be
right.
put to use.
I also like to sometimes weave pieces and cuts. So I'll keep the lengths that I have here and other pieces, and then I can weave across, I'll do a whole section where I weave across, and it just gives a different kind of look and texture.
I like that. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can create your own little ornament
Yeah. Okay, so
with the detritus of life.
Well, if we're going on to number 5, I have a wonderful example to show you that was done wrong first. And I was so proud of it. I really liked it. Let me spotlight myself again. Oh, I am spotlighted. Okay, then I'll just put my view back on. Speaker. There we go. All right. So this started off as an envelope thing, like as directed. You know, I've got the little tabs up here. I glued the envelope correctly. I've got the openings. And then I thought, I'm going to put in a journal too. Well, it doesn't want to close no matter what. And I want you to take a look at this paper. See anything about it?
Is it upside
It's
down?
upside down.
It's upside down. Yeah. So a caution when you're decorating envelopes and other things is be sure to look at the direction. I was so proud of this. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it now. Probably put it in the middle of a journal where no one will see it, and I'll put it into a pocket. And anyway, this is how not to do the folded envelope journal.
Well, and it probably doesn't close because the grain of the paper is not right.
Well, it's because there's just too much bulk in this spine. But
But you have to leave a little loose measure of spine and glue to just the one side and the other side, so that the center area that spine's over has flexibility and can handle a little bit more opening, a little bit more things.
that, or I can put a closure on it, like a wire closure or whatever.
Right,
I
or a
can do,
button.
I could do something that somebody suggested, which is, what is that? I'll just use this for them. She used a stack of 1 inch of 1 inch circles. She made like 4 or 5 of them and glued them together. Then she glued half of it to the back of her journal and then used the other half as a closure. Isn't that a cute idea? I don't know if it would hold this thing down or not, but
Yeah, yeah.
it might. Or I think this thing is destined for a pocket somewhere, and so it's not going to be glued down into the journal. It's going to be a pocket, into a pocket. But it's bulky too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the envelope journal thing. Okay, what we're going to do is glue this flap down. And it doesn't matter if you put glue all over it this time.
Can't you just lick it? Can't you just lick it?
Oh, you can lick it, sure. But my envelopes have been traveling. I think they've been through 3 moves with me. So the glue is pretty old. And I just wanted to go down. Now, before we go any farther, that's it. Oh, you're too big for the thing, booger. Great. Okay, so you're going to take, so this is the top of the envelope right here. We just glued it down. What we're going to do is now open it as though it were slit open when it was closed. So I'm just going to take about a hair's worth off of that, making sure it's aligned. Right in. So I closed the curtains because they were creating a glare, and now I can't see what I'm doing.
So it's like 1/8 of an inch on the edge.
Yeah, about 1/8 of an inch. I'm just trying to get this thing aligned. There we go. Close enough for government work. So now your envelope opens Yeah, you should have licked it. Oh, gosh, Ruthiana. Okay, I'm starting over. It does matter. We don't want to glue in there because it's going to be a pocket. Oy vey. So you want to glue. I think I need more coffee. You just want to glue right there. So the person who licked it did a good job.
I liked mine.
You were right. Okay, let's do this again. Oi. Sometimes I think if I were really focused, I'd be dangerous.
Well, then I had to glue the tips because they didn't have any lick on the ends of them.
Okay. Come on. I think my thingy needs a new blade too. It's being persnickety. Okay. Now you have an envelope that looks like it was open from the top. You know, people have letter openers and all that stuff. So now we're ready to rock and roll. All right. Gonna fold it in half. And you're gonna score it. I mean, you're gonna burnish that fold really, really. Now, I think that rather than putting one piece across all of this, as I did before, it would be better to put a piece that fits here and a piece that fits here. And if you do that, then you don't have to use the same, you know, color piece, or, you know, you can use coordinating pieces or whatever. So I'm going to do that. I have a scrap here. Get those all the way, right? Like that. That. Wow, that was nice. It's just the right size. And again, remember what direction your envelope is. This has a directionality to it because there's a swordfish coming up. So I'm making sure that my swordfish is facing the right direction. And I'm going to glue that down. It's close to the spine, but it's not over the spine. Uh-oh. Fully. That will. Is that? As I'm marking it to make sure I get it the right size. And it's really good if you could see your marks after you've done them. There they are. My ruler keeps hiding from me. Oh, there it is. When I cut this on the cutter thing, I made it a little bit too wide, so I need to take off a smidge over here. And again, I'm looking for directionality, and that has some to it, so I'll put my graph going upward. And I think because I just find white so offensive, I don't know why. It's like it just begs for something. I'm just going to color it a little bit. I can lift this up just a smidge because Yoo-hoo doesn't dry immediately. And just some ink there so it doesn't look so white. It doth offend me.
Ruth Ann, I have to leave, so thank
Okay.
you very much. Can't wait for the recording for the rest of it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate
Okay. Great, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
it. Bye. Right, so you've got the inside of your envelope decorated, everyone? With me so far? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, I'm with you, and
And Macmillan had to leave too. Okay. Oh, no, I thought it was Leanne saying that. It was you. I mean, never mind. It was Anne.
Anne left. I'm still here.
Okay,
I'm here too, Sherry.
all right. And Linda, are you still with us? Yes.
Yes, yes.
All right, so
Rosa just left.
who did?
Rosa?
Oh, Rosa just left too. Okay. All righty. So we okay? Hanging in there? It's scheduled till 1, isn't it? Or is it scheduled till 12?
12. It
Oh,
was
well, heck
scheduled to
no.
12.
I am so sorry. I thought I had till 1. Oh, okay. Would you like to go in and at least finish this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
One of my ideas was if you could just show us examples of the ones. The
Okay.
other,
I don't have.
Yeah,
I will
because
show
if they're
you-
easier, we might be able to even figure that out.
Okay, so I will finish this one because I don't have an example of this yet that worked. And this one's working, so how about that? And then I will show you examples of the rest. How's that?
yeah,
Okay.
but I don't think you have to rush. I mean,
Okay.
take your time.
All right, so here's, I'm putting the tab things in here. And I just eyeball it, you know, I'm not like persnickety about that, but I try to get it even. But now, see how this one's folding really easily, right? And this one will be glued into the journal back down. So you don't have to decorate the back of the envelope. You're just going to cut a piece for the front here, and then it'll be done. Okay? If you are inclined, you can put a thin layer of glue or a thin layer of the tape right here so that you have 2 distinct pockets. but you don't have to. And that's really all there is to that one. So let me show you examples of the rest. Moving backward, next one would be stack curves. Okay, this one's fun. Well, I like it. You can do it one of two ways. This one, here we go, that's better. This one, I just freehanded. I just cut a curve with decorative scissors. And it's 4 stacks. You start with a 4 or 5 inch squares. And then you're just cutting a curve. I used these decal edge decorative scissors. And then you just stack them and you connect this part and this part. That's it. Okay. Make sense?
That's pretty straightforward.
Okay. If you want to use the template, it will look like this. And so the template in your package is 2 size, right? Looks like this. And you can either make 4 copies of the template, or you can cut the first part off and, mark that, cut the second part off, mark the second one, cut the third part off, mark the third one. Depends on whether or not you want to do it more than once. Actually, I think freehanding is probably the most efficient way to do it, but for people who like nice, smooth curves, it's more smooth. It's smoother. I couldn't find the word. Okay, so and what I also did here is I inked the edges because it's 4 pieces from related papers, and I wanted to make sure that the edges could be seen. But
It's a nice decoration.
Thank you. And this is actually a paper that has a butterfly on it. It's really strange paper, but it's sort of like a collage paper. And so it looks almost like, when I looked at it at first, it looked like something was sticking up there. So I really felt that inking that edge was an important thing to do. Next up are the stacked book pages, I think. Yes. Okay, so let me show you several examples of these. I love making these. These are so much fun. Oh, maybe I only have these 2 right now. Okay, so this was the first one I made. These are all 45-degree cuts. And the way I did it was taking each paper up an inch and then using my mat, which has a 45-inch degree thing. And I would just like move the paper up and cut the next one, move the paper up, each paper individually, and cut the next one. This is one where I alternated the pockets, and I really like it. That's fun. Now I want to show you how I cut the pockets, because it's really easy. Okay, here are my 4, these are the 4 pages that are going to be pockets. This is the back, right? Let's assume this is the top. I'm going to take my,
Oh, this is a neat trick. I can see what's coming.
I'm glad. I didn't want to confuse anyone. All right, so I keep this, again, this is a trick to keep the gluing area a little bit larger. So I've got about a 1/2 inch up there and a 1/2 inch there, but I haven't really, I'm not getting persnickety about it because it's going to be the same on all of them. So I cut from the top, watch what happens. I've got 4 exactly parallel pieces.
And
And
so
then-
did you, are they a 1/2 an inch different in height when you started?
There's a 1 inch difference in height.
1 inch.
And then you could make it just like this. I tend to like a back page too. so that it's more finished looking. Because I've tried making it like that and it just looks like, I don't know, to me, it looks like something's missing. But it's kind of a cool trick to do all the cuts at one time because you know that they're going to be the same and it's going to really look like a waterfall. So isn't that fun?
I like your trick.
I really like the way this one turned out with staggering them too. That'll be interesting because the tags will go in like, I guess they could go in like this, right? No, not, well, I'd take a skinny one. Never mind. We'll go in like that. Okay, next one up is, oh, my little secret compartments. These are my secret compartments. This one is the diagonal one up front. So all I do is cut I cut, this was I think this one was 7 inches. Yeah, this is 7 inches to begin with. Once you start folding down, and this one's 5. Once you start folding down, they really get small. But I folded the edges in this way. This requires a great deal of precision, which is not my forte, but you get it down like that. And then I put a little writing space in the middle and then I lace it up. And the way I lace it up is by opposites. Let's see if I can do this efficiently. Go like this. And then I go through the other ways and then I tie it up. So this is for things that I put these in my art journals when I want to say something that's important to the page that I'm doing, but I don't want anybody who's a casual observer to see it. The other thing I've done in my journals before is I have one entry about my kids. I was really unhappy with both of them. And I knew someday they might look at it. So all of the writing in it is, I use Google Translate to put it into Basque, which is a language I don't think either of them would guess that I used. And and it's very secret, but it's a circus thing. I said, not my circus, not my, oh, poop, those are my monkeys. Yeah, and it went sort of downhill from there. This one is a trifold, so you're doing half the width that you fold across. Then again, you put a little writing area inside and lace it up like a much bigger
Corset.
corset or a shoe. I was thinking shoe, and then that works. And then the last one is the corner pocket journal. This is much easier than it looks, than it sounds. But I've got it a 3-inch square here, and I folded it in half. And inside I put pages that were just slightly smaller than it, folded them in half, poked my holes, and sewed it. And that's it on that. I have some pictures of other things here. This is the toilet paper pocket. It's so funny. An average toilet paper roll looks so small, and yet when you flatten it, it's 2.5 inches wide, which I think is very cool. You don't have to decorate the back because that goes down in the journal. It's very sturdy. The thing you have to do is make sure that you really work those sides to make sure that they fold. And a tip for doing that is to wet it down and, do the sides, flatten it and do the sides, and then put it under a book for a while. This is stacked tags. And these were just tag Sizzix things that I used. And I stacked them. And then this piece of paper was just serendipitous. It was a piece of paper that looked like an envelope. So I put it at the bottom. And I think those are all, oh, there's the other one I did of that. I think those are all of my samples for now. Can I answer any questions before we go? Let me put us back on Zoom. I'd like to see some of the things that you did before you leave, if you don't mind. Would someone like to show me what they've done?
I have a couple things, nothing too fancy, but I can't really see myself. I
Here, I will unspotlight myself. And then you can see yourself.
well, I actually got rid of myself at one point and I don't know how to get myself back.
Oh, I don't see myself on Spotlight anymore, so I must not be. Okay, I've got everybody on gallery view. I can see you though.
Okay,
Nice colors.
Okay.
so this is I think this is the first one we did.
Uh-huh,
And I put a little piece of paper in it.
okay.
Second one. Hello. And this one,
Okay,
I think that was it. Oh, this one.
cool. And do you feel like you got what you came for?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess the
Yeah.
thing I was thinking of is kind of incorporating these into journals that I write in,
Mhm,
maybe making them double, like the one that's on your screen right now,
uh-huh.
the pocket, making it double, like making it double wide so that when it's folded, it could be a signature wrapper.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you could do that. You wouldn't want to use very heavy paper though to do that, because by the time you got done, it'd be really, it'd be hard to sew into the spine.
Yeah,
So-
because I'll have like a journal and then I want a pocket in it and I was like, that was one of my things. Make a journal with a pocket or two.
Okay,
And so I was thinking about signature wrappers as a solution or just gluing them inside the covers or,
mhm. Well, you can do it as a tip in, or you can do it, as a spot, as sewn in, either way.
yeah.
And you could do like two of these and then put them on a larger piece that encompasses both of them. But then
Mhm.
only the larger piece is in the spine, and that makes it a little bit easier.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sherry?
Yes, I did the envelope one. We had made some marbling papers and worked with I learned the marbling things over at one of the libraries here in Santa Fe.
How cool.
They had so I'm trying to find where, oh, there we go. So I used that and it had a little fish on it, and
Uh-huh.
that would open up. I had put a color piece of something that I'd found here to relate to it. And then because I like the this is an old envelope, but from the days when I used to travel to Italy for business. So I wanted to keep their address. So I made some strips from the marble paper plus some color that I had for something else. And I'll do a little weaving on the front to kind of incorporate it.
Oh, how fun. Yeah, that sounds good.
So that's how I made that one. This one I think I showed you. And I've got to figure out how I'm going to use the O'Keefe thing in here in the back. I may have to do something else to make that work.
Uh-huh.
I liked very much this one that you had us do. Keep in mind, I was just using paper, old color paper or old how do you call that?
Wrap
Copy
paper.
paper at the wrapping papers or whatever, just so I can see it today. I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole of, oh, I've got to design everything.
Yeah.
Oh, but I liked a lot of what you gave us. My goodness, thank you so much. I think we just take it from here and play with it in our way.
Thanks. I'd love it if you sent me
Yes.
pictures of your finished stuff. That'd be fun.
Oh, okay, because I like to also design with like doing interesting little drawings, little type of abstract geometric kind of things, and repeats. like that. And we can do different ones and different colors and put them in the multiple pockets.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Just
you
realized that you
very
couldn't
much.
see my
It was
face.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Please let me know when you teach again.
Okay, thanks. And Linda, did you have anything you wanted to show us?
Sorry, I just use plain Boogra paper that I've had on hand, so it's hard to see.
Uh-huh,
But I did the basics on the first several,
uh-huh.
and then I didn't have any envelopes readily available, so I watched those, but
Uh-huh.
one's kind of, so. But, yeah, so that was fun. Thank you. A lot of cool ideas.
Well, I'd like to leave you guys with the lessons of the Red Thread. I'm a Red Thread certified creativity guide, whatever that means. Anyway, the lessons of the Red Thread are one, that we are already connected, and we're certainly connected now because we've met each other on Zoom. But two, we already belonged here because you answered a call from me. And three, we're four, whatever, again, we're called to witness each other, and that's what we just did. And I really love the whole idea of the Red Thread, and I'm hoping to start a Red Thread group online where we share and talk about our creativity, not necessarily a teaching thing, but more of a, come together and be together kind of situation. And if you're interested in that, drop me an email. I'll be happy to tell you more about it. But I really enjoyed teaching this. I hope you forgive me my my goof ups in the meantime, and have a good day. And thanks for joining me.
I thought you did a
Thank
great job.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rosanna, can I give you a bit of Zoom advice?
Yes.
Recordings are enormous files, and if you save it to your computer, you may find that it's taken up a hell of a lot of space on your computer.
Oh, and my
So I
Zoom-
recommend
yeah.
you save it to your Zoom account.
Okay. And then
So,
won't it be too big to send out, or can I send a link to it if it's on the Zoom thing?
I would, if I were you, I would ask Julie to help you post it on YouTube in a private area of
Oh,
YouTube. And
Okay,
you would send them.
I know how to do that. Okay.
Okay, that's what I would do.
Thank
So-
you so much for that piece of advice.
So this will actually come up on, well, you'll send us how we can go and look at it on YouTube. And
Yes.
it's a way of, someone like me who's just starting, I can re-see something that I maybe missed.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, thank you very much all for coming, and I appreciate you staying with me past the end time. Next time I'll remember how much time I have. And
It always goes faster than you want it to anyway.
well, it does.
Yes,
I had
yes.
fun. I hope you did too.
It was
yes,
fun.
me too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.